Now I shall show you a program in Java that will create a login window like this. This login form shall validate the username and the password typed by the user. The username shall be typed in this text field and the password shall be typed in this password field. In this Java program, I will be using Java as the correct username and Java @123 as the correct password. So if the user types Java as the username in this text field and Java @123 as the password in this password field and then hits the OK button, then the user will see a message dialog like this, displaying the message text, "Welcome, you have logged in successfully." But if the user types the incorrect username and the incorrect password, then the user will see a message dialog like this, and the message text displayed shall be "Sorry, invalid username or password." So if the user types the correct username, which is Java, and the correct password, which is Java @123 like this, and then hits the OK button, he will see this message dialog with the text, "Welcome, you have logged in successfully." But in case he types the incorrect username or the password, then he will see this message dialog with the text, "Sorry, invalid username or password." So the click of this OK button shall validate whether the username and the password typed was correct or not. But in case if the user clicks on this cancel button instead of this OK button, then he will see a different dialog box. The name of that dialog box is the confirmation dialog. So just as how the click of this OK button displays the message dialog box or the message box, in a similar way the click of this cancel button displays the confirmation dialog box. Now I shall show you how does the confirmation dialog box looks like when the user clicks on this cancel button. So when the user clicks on that cancel button, this is the confirmation dialog box that gets displayed. It consists of 3 buttons: yes, no, and cancel. And this is the confirmation message, which is, "Are you sure you want to exit?" This confirmation message is given to the user and the user has to respond. If the user responds by clicking on this yes button, then it will exit. If the user responds by clicking on this no button, then it will not exit. And if the user responds by clicking on this cancel button, then this confirmation dialog shall close. Now I shall show you how this entire login form works with the help of a Java program. Now note one thing, that the correct username that we shall be taking is Java and the correct password that we shall be taking is Java @123. Now I have already designed the interface like this and I did it in NetBeans IDE. Here username and password are the labels, okay? The username is JLabel1 and password is JLabel2. This is the text field corresponding to the label username. The name of that text field is JTextField1. This is the password field corresponding to the label called password, okay? The name of this password field is JPasswordField1. Remember this, okay? So this is the text field given by the name JTextField1 and this is the password field given by the name JPasswordField1. This is the cancel button, okay? The name of that cancel button is JButton1 and this is the OK button. The name of that OK button is JButton2. Now double clicking Okay, double clicking on this cancel button should exit this form. Okay, and the name of this cancel button is J button 1. Okay, so let me double click on it. Now this brings me to the method J button 1 action performed. Okay, this method has a body as represented by the opening parenthesis and the closing parenthesis, and inside the body of this method I shall put the Java code. Now this is the Java code that I have to put it inside the body of this method. Now you remember in my previous presentation I have already told you that yes represents the number 0, no represents the number 1, and cancel represents the number 2 in the confirmation dialog box. So when the user clicks on the yes button in the confirmation dialog box, it returns the value 0. When the user clicks on the no button, it returns the value 1. And if the user clicks on the cancel button, then it returns the value 2. Now this if statement is checking whether the value returned by the show confirm dialog method is equal to 0 or not. Now if the value returned by the show confirm dialog method is equal to 0, then obviously the user has clicked on this yes button, as clicking on the yes button returns the value 0 for the show confirm dialog method. So when this method show confirm dialog returns the value 0, it means that the user has clicked on the yes button. And when the user has clicked on the yes button, okay, then it should execute this piece of Java code, which is system.exit0. Here exit is the method belonging to the system class, okay, and this exit method shall close the login form. As a result, when the user clicks on yes in the confirmation dialog box, then it shall close the login form. So just as the user clicks on this cancel button, it will bring him to this confirmation dialog box, and if he clicks on this yes button, then the value returned by the show confirm dialog method will be equal to 0, and then this if condition shall hold true, and the Java statement beneath this if condition, which is system.exit0, shall be executed. When this Java statement gets executed, the login form shall close immediately. Now let me show you how this is done practically. So for that, let me copy this part of the code from here and paste it in the body of this J button 1 action performed method. Okay, so here it is. I have set the alignment properly. Now let me show you how this works by clicking on this run button. So just as I clicked on that run button, the login form like this gets displayed. Okay, now I shall click on this cancel button to close this form. So let's see if it works. Okay, now I will click on this cancel button. Okay, so just as I clicked on that cancel button, the confirmation dialog gets displayed like this with the message text, are you sure you want to exit? Okay, now there are three buttons, yes, no, and cancel. Okay, clicking on yes shall return the value 0, clicking on no shall return the value 1, and clicking on cancel shall return the value 2. Okay, now I shall, okay, sorry for the interruption. Now I shall click on this yes button, okay, and clicking on this yes button shall close this login form immediately, okay. So let me click on it. Now you can clearly see the login form has completely disappeared, and that was made possible with the help of this exit method belonging to the system class. Now I shall show you how the click of this OK button validates the username and the password supplied by the user. And for that, I have to first double click on this OK button. And double clicking on that OK button brings me to this method, that is JButton2ActionPerformed. And inside the body of this method, I have to put this entire piece of Java code. Now let me show that to you practically. At first, let me copy this piece of code. So here it is. This is the OK button, okay. The name of this OK button is JButton2. Now I shall double click on this OK button, and that brings me to this JButton2ActionPerformed method. This is the body of the JButton2ActionPerformed method as represented by the opening parenthesis and the closing parenthesis. Now I shall put that piece of Java code inside the body of this JButton2ActionPerformed method. So let me paste it here. So now I have set the alignment properly. Now let me explain you this piece of Java code inside the body of this JButton2ActionPerformed method line by line. The first line declares two variables, username and password, whose data type is string. Now string is a data type which denotes a group of characters. Now see here, the username Java consists of 4 characters, okay, and then the password Java@123 consists of 8 characters. So both these username and the password should be of string data type. Then only it can hold group of characters like this. Now the next line uses the getText method to extract the content out of the text field, whose instance name is jtextfield1, and then the extracted content from the text field gets stored into this string variable called username. Say for example, if the user enters Java as the content inside this text field, then using the getText method, the content which is Java here shall be extracted and stored into this variable called username. The next line uses the getPassword method to extract the content out of the password field, whose instance name is jpasswordfield1, and then the extracted content, which is the password, should be stored into this variable called password. That means, say for example, if the user puts Java@123 as the password content inside this password field, then using the getPassword method, the content which is Java@123 shall be extracted out of this password field and then stored into the string variable called password. Now note one thing, that the content inside this text field is string by default, but the content inside this password field is not string by default, okay. By default, the content inside this password field is object. So now the content that shall be extracted using this getPassword method out of the password field has to be converted from the object data type into the string data type, okay. So for that reason, I have used the value of method of the string class to extract the string content out of the object. And once we retrieve the string content out of the object, that content can easily be stored into the string variable called password. But in case of this text field, I don't have to use the string.valueOf method. This is because any content inside a text field is already string by default. So as a result, only for the password field whose content is object by default has to be extracted in the string form using the valueOf method of the string class. Okay, and then only it can be easily stored into the string variable called password. Now in this login form, as the user has supplied the content Java into this text field and the password content as Java@123 into this password field, so now Java shall be stored into this variable called username, and Java@123 shall be stored into this variable called password. Now the next line shows the if statement. Okay, the if statement checks whether the username supplied by the user is equal to Java and the password supplied by the user is equal to Java@123 or not. Now that I have already supplied Java as the username and Java@123 as the password, so this if condition holds true, and once this if condition holds true, it jumps inside the body of this if statement. Okay, and then executes this statement inside the body. Now this statement uses the showMessageDialog method of the XIChap6part4bre class to display the message "Welcome, you have logged in successfully" in the message box. Now as the message box is not set inside any container frame, so I have set the first parameter as null. The null here will denote that there is no container frame for the message box. Now let me show this to you by clicking on this run button. So this brings me to this login form. Now I shall put Java as the username and Java@123 as the password. Now see here, this is the password field. Okay, so instead of the content which is Java@123, what gets displayed here is the echo character. Okay, the echo character used here is the asterisk. Okay, this asterisk symbol, okay, which is the echo character, it masks the actual password. Okay, so the actual password Java@123 has been veiled with this echo character. Now let me click on this OK button, and once I did that, it showed me this message box with the message text "Welcome, you have logged in successfully." Okay, and I was able to view this message box because I have set the correct username and the correct password, which is Java as the username and Java@123 as the password. Now what if I type the incorrect username or the incorrect password? In that case, this if condition will not hold true. Instead, it will come over here into this else clause, and the statement inside the body of this else clause shall get executed. So now once the username is not equal to Java or the password is not equal to Java@123, then instead of this if clause, the else clause shall get executed, and then the statement inside this else clause will be activated. Okay, this statement uses the showMessageDialog method of the XIChap6part4bre class now to display the message "Sorry, invalid username or password." Okay, now let me show this to you practically. So Now let me click on this run button. Now I shall type the incorrect username and the incorrect password. Okay, so let me type the incorrect username. Let it be programming, and now let me type an incorrect password. Okay, now let me click on this OK button. Okay, once I do that, I can see the message box displaying the message text, sorry, invalid username or password. And that was made possible only because this particular statement inside the else clause has been activated. It uses the show message dialog method of the JOptionPane class to display the message text sorry, then /n denotes a new line. Okay, it then jumps it into the new line, and then it displays the text invalid username or password. There is no container frame for this message box, so it is set to null. You can see it clearly here. The text sorry appears before the text invalid username or password. Okay, this is because in between the text sorry and invalid username or password there is /n. Okay, where /n denotes a new line. So /n breaks the first line, okay, where the text sorry has been typed, and then moves into the second line, okay, where the text invalid username or password has been typed. Now I hope this is clear, and with this I end my presentation here.